All right, we're live. We
And
got to
we're
put it on
on
speaker view.
view. We're on speaker view.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Once again, we're
Hi,
back.
everyone. We're not. It's not on speaker. Oh, there it is.
It is.
It is.
Hi, guys. We're back. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our early arrivers. Hello, hello.
We're just going to give it a few minutes for people to log on. Welcome to Bedtime Stories tonight. We have two very special guests that we're super excited to have joining us tonight.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Rose, and that's Red.
Hello. That's Cynthia.
That's me. So we'd like to welcome our two wonderfully fabulous guests. But we're going to give a little time for people to join us here on IG. Just a few minutes.
Well, Cynthia, tell them who the guests are. Tell them who the guests are.
So today we have wonderful friends in nightlife and in the reality. And those guests are Xander and D-Stroy. I'm so excited.
Yes.
It's like hip hop meets house meets the back room meets the front door meets the lot, honey.
Yes.
I'm loving this.
Look, I gotta say, I was watching some of D-Stroy stuff earlier, and I'm at my mom's, and I'm so upset because D-Stroy in my house, I too have a harmonica, and I would have so had you not be ready for me to come back with the woo woo woo.
I would have found your house and hugged your mother on the face.
So, I don't know. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Happy Pride. This is the end
Happy
of the
Pride,
Pride
right?
month. Happy Pride, everyone. We're here. We're home. We're safe. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Very, very sad that there was no
Thank you
parade.
so
but,
much for being here with us tonight. Like, it's so exciting to have us here. We decided to put on bedtime stories because we wanted to hear some of the tales from the underground, from folks that we know have plenty of good time tales to tell us about. And so we are into that, and we want to know all about it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm here for it.
Ladies and gentlemen who have joined us, if you have questions for our guests, please post them on the Instagram, and if they're appropriate, we will ask them.
Yes, please, on Instagram, and type in your questions. We will find a moment to ask those questions if they're appropriate to ask.
You can get a little inappropriate. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
If your children are awake, that's on you because it's bedtime.
Okay.
Go to bed.
All right. So shall we get started? Let's get started.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and say, no shade destroys pride. So Xander, you're gonna go first on this question.
Damn.
Okay.
What could Xander, in your words, tell us who you are and why you suppose that we asked you here? Like, who are you in the nightlife?
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm fierce. I've been doing door for a while. I've done hosting. I've just been a part of really amazing and magical moments in New York City, and it's just been really great to interact with the community, several different communities, with New York City itself, and creating an energy that is just like very much what New York is, which is, the best life you can live.
Where have you been? Where were you hosting? Where were you at the door?
I really got my name and my start at APT. It was in the Meatpacking District. It was a Sunday party. And then I also was a part of Mr. Black on Bleecker and Broadway. You know what I mean? So it's been really amazing to be a part of those different sort of moments that are a part of people's lives, a part of people's memories, a part of people's New York. It's been really great.
Okay. D-Stroy, I see you doing a lot of moving around. Are you ready to answer that same question?
Yes, I am moving a lot around. I'm trying to be as amazing as Xander, but that's gonna take another lifetime.
You're amazing,
so.
bro. This is my casual. This is
No,
my
I
category
know,
is
but
casual
that's how I dress when I shower. So I wanted to get my
Honey,
stuff.
my shower look is devastating. I didn't want to bring that to the people.
Well, D-Stroy, you could continue. If you continue to grow your hair out, we're already on the right road.
See,
Okay.
one day, Xander, one day. So
okay, one day soon.
As far as myself, the question again, please, in American, if you can say it.
Well, Cynthia, you speak better American than me,
what
so
we
you
want
say
to
it.
know is, give us a little synopsis of who you are and why you think we invited you, of all people, to be here with us today.
Me, I invented rollerblading and biker shorts in LES. I started braiding homeless people's hairs in the 80s, and I was raised by Sylvia Rivera. And after that, that's it. My mother met she's in Rikers, so she's not on Zoom, so I love her. But that's it. I've just been in this industry forever. I host for the NBA, for the NFL, Sirius XM. I've been going to parties since I was a little girl. You know, I've been at it for a long time in this game. So.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
it's all good fun. I've had lots of good shenanigans with the both of you. I love it. So.
Shenanigans.
Yes, I'm all about the shenanigans. So who would like to start with a story for us, or we can start, you know, if
I'll
you
do
need us to
anything,
talk through the
whatever.
questions.
I don't say no to anything. So let's go.
So go ahead, D-Stroy. Then why don't you?
What?
start
I
with-
don't got. I'm sorry. Tell me. I'm trying to get Xandered out right now. Hold on.
Ah, yes. Okay. I love a hat. I love a hair. I'm here for it.
I could do blonde. I could do blonde for you, Xander.
It's about blonde.
I like it.
It's summer.
Hair goals.
Hair goals.
Oh, he's got curls.
Right.
Oh,
He's trying
I
to get me bob. He's trying to get the ringlet. You know what I mean? I'm giving natural body weight. He's trying to get the ringlet.
I'm here for it, man. So yes, I can tell you guys stories with you know, that involve clothes or
Anything, any story you want. I'm excited to hear.
You decide.
I got several. I mean, you could tell me in
you
context.
decide.
Just
This
throw
is all on
something
you.
out.
This is your time. This
your
is why
time.
we invited you
Tell
here.
us what
Go.
you want. Tell us what you want the world to know.
Okay, so
Even better, tell us what you never thought you'd tell the world.
I told everybody everything. Okay, I'll tell you. So one day I did an event over at the Barclays, right? And there was these bags, and I thought they were for everyone. And when I grabbed the bag, there were a pair of headphones and everything, chargers and all that stuff. And then my boy was like, yo, bro, you wasn't supposed to grab a bag. And I'm like, why? He was like, look at that bag. And it's actually DJ Khaled's bag.
Wait, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, D-Stroy has a show that he hosts called Show Off Your Gems. And he just right now showed us a gem. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, you know, me and Crazy Legs, a couple of months back, we were on FaceTime. And I remember there's a photo of him doing the Forbidden Dance with Madonna. And I was like, yo, Legs, you have that photo somewhere so I could see it? And he like went like right to his side and he showed it to me. And I was like, how about you breaking for the Queen of London? And he was like, oh, it's right here. And then I showed him something, and then my phone died. And he was like texting me. Everybody was sending me DMs like, get back on again. And I was like, I got off of Instagram for a bit, and I just set up the original setup for the show, and I just made it a concept, and I just went hard, you know, booking people and finding like, you know, everything I collected throughout my days. So like I got Bart
So-
Simpson rapping. I got invites to record release parties. Remember when those
Love
were
it.
good? I got stickers from back in the days. I got a Barbie. They made Ken a DJ. This is his turntables.
Yes.
I want that.
Yeah, me too.
That's major.
So, but what's
Hey,
the actual
you guys
show?
appreciate this. Yeah. You remember this? News Review?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Coming right at you.
So that's basically what I do here.
But
I love
wait,
that.
now you do that. That was your when that happened on the fly, but the show has now become, what is it?
So it's me. I interviewed guests every day, weekdays, and tomorrow I have DJ Scratch, who people are familiar with, Scram Jones today. I just been interviewing artists, all types of individuals, not as amazing as Xander, but
No, that's wait. What time is your show again?
it's at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and yes, at 9:10 in Scandinavia.
Okay, let them know.
So I've been doing it, and what it is what I interview them first, and then just the first 15 minutes, and then they just go in and they start showing off their gems. Because I realized from that conversation with Legs, I wasn't the only maniac saving stuff that my mother sent me from prison.
For sure. It's about collecting artifacts from your life to be able to show people where you've been, where you're going, what you love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things
Well, in this regard, yeah, showing people. But before I was showing people, I was just sleeping with these items. You know what I mean? I'll just make sex. You know what kind of damage I could do with this thing right here?
Is that one of the stretchy ones?
Nah, this
Oh,
one right here is
okay.
a wrestler. This like you throw a little kid who's being bad in your house, your cousin that you don't. This will hurt him.
I have a question for you from our friend Be Polite, D-Stroy. He asks, can you talk about your time as an MC in the underground hip hop world, especially dealing with commercial radio?
Commercial radio, yeah, of course. I'll tell you. So yeah, I started in this game with Tony Touch. Tony Touch worked in a record store, and he was cutting. I started rapping, and he was like, "What's your MC name?" I didn't have one, so I thought of Nice and Smooth, Kid and Play. My first name is David. I thought D-Stroy, Tony Touch and D-Stroy, Touch and D-Stroy. There you go. So we became a group, and we started doing our thing, traveling. And then I started a group called the Arsonists, and we were like, just knucklehead kids from around the way. And we had a 12-inch that Bobito Garcia put out, and they played it on Hot 97 on this thing called Battle of the Beats. I don't know if you guys remember where they'll put two songs against each other. Okay, so they put us up against a Def Jam record. We beat it. They put us against the Roots. We beat it, and the next day we were in their video dancing, breaking. And then then the next record they put up against us was Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt featuring Mary J. Blige, and just politics. All that's we couldn't play the financial game to fund that, so that's how we got knocked. And later on, Angie Martinez, when she left Hot 97, she coincidentally mentioned that story on how there was an underground hip hop group that was independent and they were doing well because it was all based on calls. So we'll be outside of like Gotham Comedy Club promoting something, and then everybody get to a payphone. We didn't have cell phones.
That's before cell phones and stuff. People had to really
call. We called everybody, the ex-girlfriends, the girl with the tattoo on her neck. We'll call everybody. Call Hot 97.
All hands
doing
on
well.
deck.
And then when Rockefeller ended up stepping in, they deaded the phone lines, and it was designed for them to win, which I understand. And so as far as like being an underground artist, trying to get on a commercial radio, but I figured out my angle. Into getting into more of the personality stuff, because a lot of people were like, yo, you're funny. Look at Xander, how he switched his legs. Oh my God. Yo.
I'm just getting comfortable listening.
So I started doing more. The people were like, yo, you're funny. You want to host an event? And I started doing that, like, you know, hip hop concerts. And then it just went from beyond hip hop into sports. And I kind of started, you know, I always loved being an MC, but I realized there was a lane for me to be kind of like as wild as I could be, because I knew there was limitation and restrictions in regards to the culture of hip hop. And I'm not trying to say, I think not in the culture of hip hop, if I could say probably like more in the streets where a lot of men are insecure. You know what I mean? And I wanted it to be more of a free bird. I wanted to wild out, and I used to boost. I used to be a Macy's boosting. So if I said, come with me, and you're like, what we're going to do, I'd already not rock with you because I know you're going to ask too many questions.
Right, get you in trouble, get you caught up in some mess.
Right, so because I'm going to go boost, and I don't want nobody telling me no, or we're going to get caught, or I don't need none of that. So that was just my energy. I was just go. I was always go, like this. When Sin hit me up and she told me to come on the show, I initially came without my pants on because I thought that was this type of party.
No, nobody said it's not.
It's like bedtime. Let's go.
All right. Well, Xander.
Yes.
Xander, when I met you, you were shady door host.
I am a shady.
You
I'm
were
a
shady
lovely
door
person.
host, and I was like,
I'm a lovely person.
he doesn't really
shady,
talk to me.
Door host.
That's why we love you. That's what you need at your door, because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to say yes or no and work this out at the door.
Right.
So
once you get past me, you can enjoy anything and everything. That's the whole point of my job. If I'm doing the door, I am not trying to be an easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. I'm trying to be a cunt. So once you get past me, you can do whatever you want, live, know that none of the like Brussels sprouts on the plate are going to get past me. It's nothing but a steak meal behind me. It's lovely. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Okay.
So how did you first get into working in clubs?
I went out at clubs. I came to New York initially to go to NYU.
From where?
And so when I moved here to go to NYU, actually, the first day that I moved here, I met Nita, DJ Nita, who you had last week. We've been friends since like for 21 years. And I moved here to NYU. And then literally that same day, we were in the orientation class together. And she was like, we're going to be friends. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But we ended up being friends. And I was just like going out when I was in school. And they really lived for my energy because when I show up, I show out. And as I went out, more places would let me not have to wait in line. And then the people that I would bring, they wouldn't have a problem letting them in because I was like fierce and all my friends were fierce. So it just became like a natural sort of part of the environment of going out, you know? And then one of the early parties I would go to a lot, people that I didn't like would come in, and I would go to the manager and be like, what's going on at that table? Who are those folks over there? What's happening? And then he was like, well, if you don't like what's happening, why don't you just go to the door and just like handle it? And I was like, well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go to the door. And so, especially at APT, like I started going to the door. If it started getting gnarly, I would go right to the door and be like, no, turn around. I don't know who will help, bye. And then I just started staying at the door, and then I became a piece of the door so that people could come in and just be in with their friends and hear good music and have a wonderful, merry time.
Nice.
That's
so
awesome.
Tell us a little story about being at the door.
Well.
Tell us about that night.
I mean, like, APT had so many door stories. Like, I remember waiting at the door for people to come in and out, and I kept seeing this guy standing there, and he would just like stand there and kind of giggle to himself. I'm reading people for filth, and he's standing there like not coming up. And at one point I stopped and I said, can I help you? He goes, no, I enjoy watching you. And then I realized it was Bob Saget, who was just like standing there, just like watching me read people. Or like, I remember this like group of older ladies in full furs. It was wintertime, and I was turning away people left and right, but they came up feeling it. Like from Texas, big hair, furs on the furs. And I said, these ladies could obviously come in. And some girl goes, why them? And I said, look at them. Look at you. And I let them stroll right in. Or like one of my favorite sort of moments that I know was passed down to me from other just like New York individuals is to and was to always connect with a person as much as possible. And there was a guy who would always be up front. he would always sell roses, and didn't really notice him at all. But one night I left, and I heard him singing some of the songs that we were playing in there, and then I realized he was out there so much. He knew all the songs like everyone I would let in. He knew all the great beats. He knew Strings of Life when it hit. And I left like a few Sundays after that, and I went to him and I said, look, I don't know your situation, but as long as you come, pressed, showered, ready to go, I'll hold your roses and you can go downstairs and hear the music. You don't have to be outside. And he came the next Sunday, gave me his roses, and went downstairs for an hour, hour and a half, and came up feeling. And I said, that's New York for me.
Yeah,
that's doing the door. I don't let a lot of people in. I let in the right people. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my booty cheek.
Oh my God.
I like that.
How you saying, oh my God? You know you've been held outside plenty of times,
Who,
D-Stroy.
me? Homegirl, are you crazy? I snuck in kitchens. I grabbed everything to go in. I used to go inside the club, and then when all the drug dealers needed like a blunt or something, I would like collect all the money, go out, and then come back in.
I did the same thing. I was a runner. That's how I handled my stuff. They would be like, what do you mean? I was like, hold on, let me get it. Let me get it. So
hold on, Xander, let me finish. So if you didn't want a blunt, then I'll tell the drug dealer, you could kiss my booty cheek. And he was like, okay. And I was like, all right, but hold on. And wait. So.
He's saving up that money to get your mom out of Rikers. So I have a question. So D-Stroy, you've done this. I didn't realize it was every weekday.
Yeah.
So far on Show Off Your Gems, what's been the favorite gem that you have seen? Is there one?
Yeah, somebody showed the acetate for Paid in Full, which is Eric B. and Rakim's first album. Somebody else showed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame award given to Grandmaster Flash, but this person had it because Grandmaster Flash owed him some money. I seen a lot of amazing things that made my jaw drop. And, from the stuff like us when we were kids, like 45 cereal boxes, I was
just talking about that.
Yeah, just those type of things that brought us to an innocent time. And what's amazing is that we all come from a wild era. Some of us are crack era kids where we like seeing the worst of society, and we're in a time like this. But the beauty is that we are in a time like this, knowing that we lived such a wild, challenging moment. And these items kind of take us to that innocence. We didn't know how crazy it was.
No.
So, when somebody pulls something out, I'm like, wow, I remember this. My mother used to put cocaine and sheetrock in the room in the back, and I used to play with this. These are real stories. Like, I remember she'd buy me a toy and say, stay in front of the TV and don't come in the room. And her homegirl would just stack up coke inside the sheetrock. That's how it was. But these are innocent times. And I got a Xander toy right here.
Giddy up, giddy up.
Well, Xander, I have a question for you.
Sure, go for it.
DJ Dawson would like to know when did you realize that you had the gift to be able to read people's energies?
I realized it when I was younger, but I didn't realize that's what it was. It was just, I didn't know how to handle it in my life. And when you're reading energy, you're really reading your own and understanding what that give and take is. When someone walks up to me, it's automatic, like I feel the energy come off. It's not just it hits me, reverberates and comes back. And whatever that is, it's how I judge what that is. And my mother and my grandmother and my father, really my family, they're really good at that. Like they know how to oh no, not her, or oh yes, most certainly. And they passed that along to me, but I really started to believe in it when I got out of college. After being in New York a few years, I realized, and I moved to New York in '98. So being in New York for a few years, I realized like I'm good at it for myself, not even like to work anywhere. I'm good at it myself to like keep myself safe, to like make friends and that sort of stuff. But I realized it was a tool that I could call on when I started really doing door, and I started really honing in on what I was naturally doing for myself every day. And then I understood what it was and what it is to like read people's energy and read people for filth.
Gotcha. Okay. Cynthia, go.
So I have a question that I like to ask like all of our guests, and I'm going to ask both of you this question. And the question is basically, you know, you both have had an opportunity to work with loads of folks, you know, throughout your careers, right?
Yeah.
If there was like a dream person that you could work with, either dead or alive, who would that person be and why?
Wow.
So I guess Xander,
Yeah.
you wanna go first, or
Go, D-Stroy, if you have one. I'm still thinking.
Okay.
Me, I think it'd be Liza Minnelli's mother.
Word.
Garland?
Yes, I had such a crush on her.
Here
Nah,
for
I don't know. Like I've had the good fortune to work with people, and I guess you guys also understand this, where like we're working, so we can't really fan out in a sense.
Right.
And I'll tell you a funny story. So I host a couple of Super Bowls, right? And this one Super Bowl, the football player, some of these artists,
Yeah.
you know, celebrities, where they're on time, they don't really got time, you know. So there's this thing where I do it for about 30 minutes. I interview them for 30 minutes, and then they leave. Sometimes it's even 15. And the rookies like to look at their clock. And it's really rare that you find somebody who's like just genuinely cool. You know what I mean? So I'm interviewing this guy, Howie Long, who is a legendary Raider. His son, Chris Long, played for the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're done with the interview, and all these little kids want an autograph. That's natural, right? Nobody else has signed any autographs, but he started signing mad autographs. And I was like impressed, like, wow, that's so nice of him to do that, right? So this man, an adult man, comes with a helmet, and he goes over the little kids, and he's like, yo, can you sign this? But don't use that Sharpie, and sign it right here. And he was like, bro, you know, this is for the kids. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to change pens, and don't try to demand where I'm going to write. You know, he's like trying to be nice about it. So he's like, okay. So he signs it. The guy grabs the helmet, and he says, thank you, asshole. And I was like, now let me tell you the type of human being of a man this guy is. He's a man. I'm not a man in comparison to that human being, right? He's like 1,000,000 feet tall. His arm is my whole torso, right?
Right.
So he doesn't react. He doesn't react. He just keeps signing autographs. And I'm looking at the dude who's just like kind of coasting out, being just like, man, he's so mean. That was so rude. So I look at the player, and he knows I'm the only one that heard him say that to him, you know? So he goes and he throws the pen down, and he gives the kid the shirt. He's like, fuck that. And this NFL superstar who won the Super Bowl goes into the crowd, and now he's looking for this dude.
Shut up.
And yes, and little kids are like, oh my God, they don't know what's going on. They're trying to hug him. And he's like going to little kids, get out of here. Get out of here. Right? And I'm like, I could see the guy because I'm still on stage, and I'm like, man, I want to point him out and be like, get him, he's right there, you know. But because you know, I want to snitch, man. I want to.
Honey, where's the flashlight?
But I also know that he's a superstar, and this will be on TMZ in an instant.
Hood in you. It's the hood in you that makes you want to see
yeah. You know, so I'm thinking like that, but I'm like professional. I know I got the people at Pepsi looking at me. You know, these corporate companies hire me for a reason. So I never acknowledged that the guy is over there. So the football player goes into the green room. Now I'm feeling a little bit bad because I'm the host and I'm kind of looking at it as he's my guest, right? In my place
Right.
where I interview him. So I go to the green room to like apologize to him and I stick my hand out. He grabs my wrist. He turns me around. He puts me in a yoke and lifts me off my feet. Now, the people at Pepsi know I'm a maniac. So they're like, what did he say to this football player who's going to put him to sleep right now in front of us? Oh, my God. So I'm dying laughing, right? And he says in my ear, D-Stroy, I wanted to kill that motherfucker. I want to, you know? So he has me off my feet, and I'm just laughing. And the people at Pepsi are looking at me like scared. They're like, oh, my God, what did D-Stroy say? I knew we made a mistake hiring this dirty kid from Brooklyn. What the hell? Anyway, he puts me down, and he tells them, the company that brought me on board, he's okay. D-Stroy is amazing. Somebody out there just really got me mad. And he walked off. And that was it. The guy lived to see another day. I continue getting booked by the NFL, but to get yoked by an NFL superstar who is a Super Bowl champion was amazing. And I know, Xander, you would have loved it as well.
I live for that. The fact that he was in your ear being like, I was going to kill that asshole, like, that's major.
He probably had a deep voice and everything.
Yes,
like,
yes.
to feel his breath.
You know what I mean? Like, you saved the life, because I would have pointed him out and we were like, excuse me, bro, EE and FF right there.
Yo, yes. So there's been some amazing times as far as working with individuals. You know, I went to Quincy Jones' house. I gave Terry Hatcher a Charlie horse. I took Jamie Foxx's doorknob from his house.
Okay.
I took I did a lot of wild stuff, but life is amazing. Why not?
Yes, I agree.
I love it.
Xander, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Joey Quinones.
Yes.
Question. Joey would like to know.
That was
You said that right, by the way.
As an influential nightlife person, what is it like? And this was actually something I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Without social media, and let me just specify, not to have social media, because yours is by choice. What's that about? What's that like?
Years ago, I had Facebook. I had MySpace. Someone set up MySpace for me. Okay, let's back up. Beep, 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 beep. I've not ever been good with technology, period. Let's start there. And then I started, you know, using phones when phones were a thing, and then smartphones became a thing, and then like Friendster, didn't use it. MySpace, someone set it up for me. Facebook, okay, I got one of those.
Yeah, you've got two of those.
I got two of those because I had one, forgot the password, and then I got a second one, and they blocked me because they said I wasn't the real person because my name didn't match the name on my ID, and I was like,
right,
your lies, shenanigans, whatever, so I don't care. But I decided, like, I would say 3 years ago, for 6 years before that, I did not have a phone. I did not have an email. I did not have anything like that. In order to reach me, you had to leave your house. You had to engage with New York City, think about me even, and I would show up. I was very that. Carrier pigeons and smoke signals. That's what worked. You know what I'm saying? I was very that kind of New York. I really like to fashion myself after like 1992, 93 artists. There wasn't cell phones on the horizon. The idea of having platforms and social media wasn't a thing. You had to just like live your life and really be a part and engaged to New York City, the streets, the people that live there. 3 or 4 years ago, I decided to kind of get back on so I could reach my mother with more ease. Like even without a phone, every Sunday I call my mother to like let her know that I'm okay, happy, well, and safe. But like other than that, I wasn't trying to get a phone, and I decided to get a phone. Like not even my own phone. I got a friend's phone. She hooked it up so I could use it if I went on Wi-Fi. Like it was very bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was unbothered because the people that needed to reach me or people that wanted to reach me knew how. Let's go out into New York City. It'll happen. But like if you were just trying to reach me on the phone, like
that's amazing.
It
you
really
know,
is
like
amazing.
I got a campaign through Adidas during that time period. And I found out that Adidas had a meeting. They knew who to talk to in New York City, that knew who I would be staying with, and called their phone so they could talk to me. and they didn't complain about it or anything. They just knew that I was worth it as an artist. And once some business in that sort of sense does that, let alone my mother was like, I understand it, I get it. I was like, my mama said it's okay. Everybody else can do what? Kiss my booty cheek.
Oh my God.
Did you have a landline at all? No phone whatsoever?
I have this little piece of busted something that's through a friend of mine. Like, I don't even know the password to go in it to change nothing. But like, I have access to an email. I don't have a landline. My roommate, he has a phone that's one of the more recent somethings or
From
something.
the future?
You know what I mean? Like Apple something, and I use it to call my mom with more ease.
Yo, can I donate the VHSs to you, bro?
I live for VHS. VHS is the look. Mini disc and VHS.
I highly suggest that if you ever decide to move forward, you make all your passwords EEFF.
Okay, bro. E and FF, mama. Okay.
Okay. Well, Cynthia, you have any questions?
So no, but I never got the answer.
Wait, side note, Grace Jones.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
I didn't forget. Grace Jones would be the person that I would love to work with. Besides just like a myriad of individuals, the energy she invokes when living her best life, and she lives her best life every day of her life, whether people like it or not. It's not that she has to be apologetic about something. She's unbothered about everything. She just lives her life the way she wants, looking the way she wants, and that's impactful for me, especially as a brown, Black individual in the world, especially as a queer other individual and artist in the world, to be able to see someone as that, be like that, that's fab. And so to work with her would just be breathtakingly amazing. So that's who I'd like to work with. I've seen her in concert once. It was amazing. Oh, it was amazing. But I would like to, if I had an opportunity to work with her, just engage with her on a personal level, everything.
I like it.
I love it. Yeah, I love me some grace. Put some grace in your face.
Okay.
I love it.
The rhythm what?
That's right.
Well, D-Stroy, I have a question for you.
Please.
Forgive me if I should know the answer to this, but I know at some point you were working on film.
Uh-huh.
Did the film happen? And if not, will the film happen?
So the film I wanted to make was based on 1977. 1977, for people who would know, was when the blackouts took place, Son of Sam.
Yeah.
But it was also, it was kind of like the last act of the Young Lords, which was the Latino version of the Black Panthers in New York City. And they took over the Statue of Liberty. And this is in real life. They wanted to bring attention to Lolita LeBron, who was someone who shot into the U.S. Capitol, the Senate, to bring attention to the island of Puerto Rico. So because it was based in New York City, English, the disco era and all that stuff, I kind of felt very close to it, because for some reason I love because I come from the hip hop background. If a lot of people ask me what you're listening to right now, I really listen to originals and disco, if that makes any sense for someone like me. But I just love that time. We were a very free society. It was crazy, of course there was madness going on, but yeah, so I started penning it. And then in my quest is just trying to find if people are ready for something like that, content like that, if there's an audience with power for something like that. I'm an advocate for more Latinos being represented in film overall. And I know we were in the conversation, not only in the disco era, but also in the inception of hip hop. So it's a thing where I kind of want to help the narrative of people like myself, who came up in this New York, where we were all kind of like a master mix of all these cultures and races. of course, from our respective countries and towns and all that stuff, but the make of the empowerment of New York, or just kind of like growing up and looking at like a Nat Turner and being like, oh, I kind of like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
These were like things that, so my point is I started to write it. And when this whole thing started, this whole pandemic, I was on tour in Canada, and I was like, you know, I could be in the hotel room, start writing. And I was kind of hyped, like, oh, I could go home and now I could just focus on writing. But this whole thing, as probably for you guys as well, I was dealing with anxiety, and I was like,
For sure.
I gotta chill out. I couldn't get my thoughts, you know, out in a certain way. So I was just calling random people just to kind of like, hey, how you doing? What's up? What's going on? You know, and
Right. Staying in contact, communication, for sure.
Calling Crazy Legs during that lunatic time of mine was how I came up with the idea to do this show. So yes, so it's still there. It's still something I'd like to do. But I'm also, I just want to, you know, like, this is Lemon Anderson, a deaf poet, dude who writes a lot of poetry. He helped write the She's Gotta Have It episode for Spike Lee that goes to Puerto Rico. He recently did that to raise money for the people who to get food for everybody that works at hospitals and stuff like that. So I try to support like people in the arts, because it's important, you know what I mean? There's not a huge ecosystem for us to exist. So you just, you know, you just take a note from everybody in their own respective community, like, oh, that's how they all put money together, and then they kind of, you know, made Hollywood happen. Okay, cool. You know, so you know, I'd like to do that in time if it makes sense. As of right now, the most important thing for me and my friends, and even you guys and anybody watching this, is that if I could bring a smile, or I'm smiling for something that you guys said, that's what I value right now. Everything else could fall back for a little bit.
I like it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, I like it's strange also being an artist or someone who's like a creative during this time, because, you know, you just have to kind of navigate your way to making these outlets to continue to express yourself or to connect with people. So, you know, I know that you've started the Show Off Your Gems as a part of that. What about you, Xander? Is there something that you're doing right now that's like allowing you to connect to your creative side?
Right before the pandemic happened, I worked with a group of amazing artists. Rashonda, Kyle, and Richard, we are Black opera singers, and we go around the world doing like amazing art. And we were supposed to go to London right before they shut everything down. And before that, we were in Paris. And before that, I was in Germany. So I was living my best life, like, yes, the world's about to have it. And then have the world shut down. It's like the momentum that we had, we've been able to like maintain it. But then there's also other projects that I've had to, wanted to do, but I've had to navigate, like D-Stroy was saying, like my mental health and the anxieties of having to be in, but then also while in, having that time and having to allocate my mental being okay, but also executing on time and good art while I'm, you know what I mean, how to honestly navigate that. Because even if I put out really good art on time, but my brain's crazy, like I can't do the next project. I can't move forward. I can't stay grounded in myself, and like trying to, and then doing the best that I can for myself every day. And just moving forward with that has just been, it's been a really great sort of tool and test for myself of how I've been treating myself, and using the things that I know that help me be my best me, really engaging with those right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing a project for a group of DJs. I'm doing some of their visual and cover art and some of their like things, and so I'm making an outfit that's based around majorettes. But it's like my mother went to a historically Black college in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, and her school that she went to, A&T in university in North Carolina. They're the #1 marching band for historically Black colleges. So I like got really inspired by that. And like I've been working on that outfit, let alone I'm doing another project. So keeping myself not just busy, but focused on the art that I can do has just been what I've been doing. And it's been really healthy for me and good for me. Like I do my art, if I have to just like stop and like take a nap or just like, you know, just take a break, you know, eat some candy, sit back down. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's a lot for one day. Ooh, I stood up yesterday and went to the bathroom. Girl, I did it. What? Where's the English muffin? Let's turn it. You know what I mean?
Lemonheads.
Don't get the honey muffin.
Honey, don't get the honey bun with the icing. Don't get a girl hyped up.
Stop it.
I love it.
Honey.
Oh my goodness.
Cynthia, you have any questions on your end?
I don't.
Well, I have a question. I have a question.
Do it.
Super random. Xander, does your nose ring have a symbol on it? And if so, what?
I'll get closer. It's a shell. It's a Dayglow shell.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So simple.
About
So
the
nice.
life.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit.
You know, I see you in those lights.
I love
See what's going on over there. That's what you could see.
neon.
I know that you thought of this, Xander, because it's what you do, as you said earlier, but I also know this is what I call casually fabulous. Casually fabulous is a saying that I have for people where you could just get dressed, put something on, and you didn't think about it, but it all just came like that little stripe on your sneaker matches the exact stripe on your earring, matches the exact stripe. And you're like, I didn't even think. And you go out and people are like, "Ooh, girl, you know, you put that all together." And you're like, "Oh no, I didn't. I really did not." And that's casually fabulous.
Like, there's some moments, like if I'm going to like an event, that I'll put in like a lot of effort. But like my brain just like thinks of something and goes to the bag and it's like, ooh, and just like starts snatching things out. And then it's like, ooh, and starts like pulling things. And then my brain's like, ooh. And then I put it on and I'm feeling, you know, I'm feeling all of it. Like no one can tell me nothing. That's what I like to give the streets, you know, because the streets is crazy right now. So they need to eat it.
And speaking of eating it, that's perfect. Because DJ Dawson wants to know, what is the current High Chew flavor? What is that flavor right there?
Oh, well, my normal hot chew flavor is green apple right now. But right now I'm doing Sour Patch Kids.
There you go.
I knew those were Sour Patch Kids.
I didn't even know there was candy on the screen until right now.
I get that candy right, okay?
I want to
Good
know.
eye, Justin. Good eye.
I want to know where you got this hair from, D-Stroy. Where did you get this hair?
Oh, this is wonderful.
I'm trying to keep up with Xander, fam. So, you guys know that there's a costume shop. I used to have a show on Univision where I used to just interview a bunch of artists for the English-speaking Latino population in the United States. And I went into, what is the name of this? Oh, one of these costume places. And I just I just bought everything Xander would buy. And then the guy behind the register, he was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" The guy behind the register was like, "What you doing?" And I was like, "Why don't you kiss my booty?" My booty cheek. Yeah. And he was like, "Somebody else told me that." I said, "Was Xander here?"
Honey, I sure was getting the discount. Know that.
Somebody said your nails are fabulous. Casually fabulous, Xander.
Casually fabulous.
Okay.
But
Casually fabulous.
I've got a question for both of you from Sean Haynes. Sean wants to know from both of you, who are the or is an artist that you think people should know about?
Oh, that's a great question, Sean.
Sean, that's a great question. I think I'm more on the visual side these days. As far as like singers and stuff, I don't know, bro. Like, it depends your vibe. I could go everywhere with music. So, but now I'm just on this visual tip where I'm just looking at the time somebody puts into a painting or a sculpture or even like
Peanuts.
man, every time I've interviewed artists, I'd have them draw like their favorite album cover. I got like something Tank drew. He did like Jodeci, like just I don't know. I'm admiring the concept of human beings like staying by themselves and like drawing and kind of zoning out.
Mhm.
You know, so Sean, I'm sorry I can't answer your question in good faith, but Xander will have an amazing answer for you because he went to school for questions like this. So,
honey, I'll say this. Look, artists, people need to know about. Look, this will make it easy for you. Me.
Okay.
I like that.
You need to know about artists. My name is Xander Gaines. I'm fab. I'm fierce. I'm really good. Stay in tune. Look it up. Boop, there you go.
Get into it. Get involved.
Okay.
Get into it. Get involved.
Okay.
So, D-Stroy, when you were giving your answer, I don't know if you heard what I said, but I yelled in the background, peanuts.
oh my God.
I was amazed. That was amazing. I'm just saying.
So,
What was peanuts?
So what she's talking about is yesterday I had this individual who I met through Instagram who draws straight up a whole situation on a peanut. Like he drew Biggie Smalls out of
Like
a
a
peanut.
peanut?
He did the whole
Yes.
Willy Wonka out of peanuts.
Like a salted peanut?
No,
Bro,
like
Xander,
a peanut in a
listen.
shell.
Like Mr. Peanut.
Like the
Xander.
top of that shell is the head and the rest is the body. And go ahead, D-Stroy.
And then to try to, he told me he did it specifically to try to impress Xander, which is really tough. He draws a whole image on a Tic Tac, like a whole face. I swear, it sounds crazy, but
It's yeah. Go ahead.
everybody in the comments was like, "What?" So he's a dude who grew up like designing toys, and as a joke, him and somebody who's like super famous right now used to do that, and then he was like, "Man, I'm gonna just keep doing it," and yeah, I'm sure that makes him happy.
Wow.
It blew my mind. Look,
It
she
blew my
remembered, and that
mind.
was yesterday, and that's how beautiful like art is. It's inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look at you,
I
Xander.
think
Your art, bro.
life,
You're
but,
living
like,
art.
That's so small. Like a peanut is small enough. A Tic Tac is
A
even
Tic Tac.
smaller.
Cynthia, you have to when we
A
finish
Tic
this,
Tac?
you will go and you will watch the episode.
You're right. I will.
The Tic
These
Tac
stories,
it has
yesterday's
a whole image
episode?
on the Tic Tac.
Yes.
And he combined Tic Tacs and put them into the clear Tic Tac box and made a scene out of it.
Yes. There you go.
This was yesterday's
It's
episode.
like imagine the
Yes.
little those the snowballs, the little glass bowls that you shake.
Yeah,
There's
Uh-huh.
like little
snow
Santa inside.
Snow globes.
Like thank you. He put a whole thing inside the Tic Tac box with a background and everything. I was like, wow.
I'm here for that.
Yo, he did the Shining twins. You know the twins in the
Out of
Shining
Tic Tacs?
as two little Tic Tacs. Tic Tacs, and the back of the Tic Tac plastic, as she was saying, is like a scene in the
It's
hotel.
like the hotel
It's
room
crazy.
or whatever.
That's major.
Wow. That's amazing.
So
I
it's
am
inspiring.
supportive of that. That's
Yeah.
beyond. I'm here for
I
that.
wonder if he wore special glasses and was like,
No, he did not. He talked about it. He did not. He said he was amazed at himself because he did not need one of those magnifying or anything. He could
Right,
do
like a jewelry magnifier or something like that.
nothing.
Nah, he said he could,
Nothing.
but
Use like a Sharpie pen or something?
nah, it only has three I don't know, 3 hairs, the brush that he uses.
Right?
oh,
He showed it. But you know, once again, like visual
That's
art is
amazing.
inspiring. You know what I mean? It's like, as far as music, you know, I interview new artists on Sirius XM, and that's cool and that's great. And I take nothing away from all those artists that work hard and want to become something. I admire them and salute them. I was that one day, once. But you know, now it's all about inspiring, you know, inspiring everyone in whichever way you can. So if that art is visual art or music, or you know, being a character like myself or one like Xander, that's beautiful in itself.
Yeah. Being a carrier of energy is very inspirational. I know I was inspired and still inspired by people that have just like a wealth and an abundance of love for themselves and energy to share and give, because that enables anyone to live in their best life and move forward in that life. And that's,
For sure.
you know what I mean? And that's
you know
the
what,
most
Xander?
great-
You know what? In a business where we are, you know, sole proprietors, we are business owners in our own right. We don't have a conference room. If
Right.
to take it even to a deeper sense, when this whole thing happened, I like conversations like this because we are all creatives, right?
Right.
And
Sure.
when I mentioned the anxiety that I dealt with while I was on tour and home, it's real, and that's something that
real.
we should be able to converse about, because we are also talking about us maintaining, like
Yeah.
sustaining that when this is done, we can, you know, kind of be all right. But, you know, I'm sure like yourself, Xander, we've kind of been through the mud and we just rise like the phoenix, and
Right,
we just
for sure.
continuously
we
doing that.
sustain and we thrive and we sustain some more so we can thrive some more. We sustain even
Correct.
more and thrive even more. And a lot of people, when they are put against, I like to always tell individuals, I am like a piece of coal. I am fuel. I can burn and I can make things go and just like live in them. But if you put pressure on coal, if you give it what you think is too much to bear, that pressure makes it a diamond. And a diamond is the strongest element in the world, and it will cut through glass. So if someone tries it with me, all I do is come out shining and bringing even more radiance to my life. That's what, to me, is the most important. So
the only issue I have with that is that diamonds don't have booty chicks to leak. Okay. I'm not even speaking English anymore.
Now, look, guys, Instagram is probably going to cut us off in a minute. And before that happens, first I want to tell the people we probably won't be back. So you'll have to catch our YouTube channel to get all of the bonus that might happen after this. But very quickly, D-Stroy, I want you to share your IG, because I'm getting comments and people want to see the Tic Tacs. They want to see the peanuts. They want to see.
The Tic Tac is got to happen.
Yo, it's kind of worth it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, it's worth it.
It's D-Stroy, at D-Stroy on Instagram, on Black Planet, on Mi Gente, on Christian Mingle, at D-Stroy without the letter E in D-Stroy.
Perfect. They just kicked us off. Just like that.
It's all good.
Well, I'm still on because, you know, I signed my thing in after Cynthia, so I probably got 20 more seconds, but they're going to put us off of Instagram. So if you want to see the rest of what happens here, you'll have to come to our YouTube channel, which is Stroy's and Redness's Bedtime Stories.
Woohoo!
And there you get the bonus conversation, the things that happen when Instagram cuts us off.
That's right. That's how it goes down. The link is in my bio. Thank you to Xander and to D-Stroy
for having me.
Us.
Pleasure to meet you, D-Stroy. Thank you.
Xander, you rock.
And thank you to everybody who has joined us here also for Bedtime Stories. I do have a bonus question I want to ask you.
Bonus question.
So the bonus question for both of you is, what was your, okay, so all of us have met, like I met all of you, each person in this room through New York City nightlife.
Yeah.
What was your first New York City nightlife experience, and like what made you like decide that you were gonna like, I'm gonna be in the clubs now, this is a part of who I am, or this is why I need to, you know, this is what I need to be a part of?
Okay, so for me, Check the Rhyme came out. I bought it on cassette and I listened to it for like 5 hours straight. A friend told me that he could sneak me into Octagon. And when I went to Octagon,
what night was it? Because that's very different nights.
It was the Xander night.
I was gonna say those were the nights.
Nah, it was a hip hop night, and I remember Dress from Black Sheep was there, and somebody threw a bottle at him, and I was like, oh my God, somebody threw a bottle at a superhero of mine. That's how I looked at it, right? Because I'm a young kid who raised on Video Music Box. So when I go in, I had to take my sneakers off, look into a camera. They had to search me. I was manhandled, and I approved of it all. I loved it. And I went, and the DJ was Kid Capri.
Wow.
What happened is I literally just stood there looking at Kid Capri from a distance. I didn't dance. I didn't do anything. I just looked at him, and I was just in awe of how attractive of a man he was. I was looking at like how amazing of a DJ he was, and he was tapping the record. He was like doing these things that were just the confidence, and the people were still into it. And of course, I wouldn't know what it would come to be as far as the scene, but just to be in my innocence, looking at it, and then like there was a fight that broke out, and I know security like threw me against the wall, and I loved it all. I loved it. I was just like, wow, this is so dangerous. It's like me being raised in my house, but with louder music.
And better speakers.
Yes, but worse drugs. There were better drugs in my house.
Okay.
So yes, it was Octagon, you know, the early 90s, and Kid Capri just blew my mind.
Nice.
That's
What about you, Xander?
When I moved here in '98, early on, September, October, November was the beginning of school, and I went to a club called Twilo for the first time.
Oh, Twilo and those goddamn mushroom speakers.
Yeah, and so I went to Twilo, and I had never seen a club that was that. I can't say big because honestly, Twilo wasn't large, but the energy space there was just like next level, and like the level of people there, not just what they look like, but just like what they were bringing, and just like the music. And being from the South and being from North Carolina, I have a strong connection with my mother, and through my mother, my grandmother, through the church, and just like the idea of Blackness and what that is. My grandfather, my grandmother, during the civil rights in North Carolina, they were in it to win it, especially my mom. And like, so that sort of like idea of what Blackness is, I didn't know that existed outside of really North Carolina in that sort of sense. I knew it existed in other pockets, but the way that that sort of energy of it, I didn't know really existed in other places, let alone at night like that. And like first night at Twilo, I'm there, and the last song the DJ plays, Junior Vasquez, is Home from The Wiz. And I lost it. I started not just bawling, but just like crying, because it was like, not that I found home, it was like home can really be anywhere. That's what that song is. And like, I'm at this location looking and feeling fab with my friends, hearing, and I came to New York City for musical theater. So it was just like a lot for me all at once.
Yeah.
It was everything. Like, I auditioned for NYU. I got in, I auditioned at Juilliard. I got called back. They only called back 27 kids out of everybody, and they accept 25. I was number 27. So like, that's like what my passion is.
Yeah.
And when I do my auditions, if I have to cry in it, the song I sing in my head is Home from The Wiz.
Wow.
So to hear that out was just like, it was next level for me. It was just like all these things. And not just from that point on, before that point, but from that moment forward, I knew that no matter what anyone said, that nightlife was going to be a part of my life, that it was going to influence my day, and my day was going to give energy to the night. Like, I wasn't going to cut one out of the other. It wouldn't make sense for me. And that's, you know, I was 17 when I went into that club. I had a fake ID saying I was 21. I was going to get into these places. And when I went in and then have a moment like that happened, it was like, it was worth it.
That's wonderful. So I said this last week, Xander, in talking about myself, but it sounds very similar, that you found the puzzle that your piece fit into.
Yeah, with ease.
It's a wonderful thing.
With ease.
And what part of North Carolina?
I'm from a place called Hillsborough, North Carolina, which is in Orange County, the same county as UNC Chapel Hill. Like most people, if you know about college basketball, that's a really UNC Chapel Hill, Duke, like NC State, that's college town. for like sports. And so like, that's the area that I'm from, is that area. And I have a lot of family, like most of my family on my mom's side especially is from North Carolina. So, and that's where I was raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls.
This is
It was very
fun.
difficult dealing with you guys. Xander, you're amazing. Just everybody
You
else
too,
is.
D-Stroy. It was a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure. Thank you, ladies, so much for reaching out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. This was
It's
lots
like
of
you
fun.
two, your two names. We have a list that's like 3 pages plus long of like when we first came up with the concept. We were like, okay, who do we want to hear stories from? Who do we want to hear stories from? And your names were like the first page.
Yeah,
so
it really was.
both of
really
you,
was.
like you know.
Well, thank you.
This is a
I
good
appreciate
pairing.
you. Thank you for appreciating me.
I could see a movie with me and Xander driving cross country.
I'm here for that.
Oh, I can see it. I'm going to be like the waitress in one of the restaurants you guys stop at.
Yes.
I got voices for you. I can be like, you know, I'm just really, really glad y'all stopped in here tonight. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Let's get it.
I
Let's
wanna be
go.
in the movie. One of my alter egos. I have several.
Okay.
Shayna Shenanigans is one. I got one that's an old Jewish white lady that has leather skin because she lives in Miami. She's mad
Mama,
tan.
she's about
Her
that
name's
Yeah.
Ann Horowitz. I got.
Look, Xander can do makeup. He can make you look like that bitch.
Honey,
I'm
I can
almost
set you
there.
up with somebody that can do that.
Well, I love you guys, and I
Thank
really
you. Same here.
thank you so much. Sincerely.
Everyone be safe and take care, please, while out there. Like, no
Can I
matter
just
what
do
you're
one
doing,
thing?
like, just be aware of your surroundings and live your best life and just be good, y'all, for sure.
Wait. I just want to do one thing. Bear with me.
Yeah.
So I had it in my head that there could be a moment where we were like, you know, show a gem. And because I'm at my mother's house, I was like, I don't have my own personal gems, but D-Stroy, I have here, we're at my mother's house, which has been here basically my entire life. This right here that I'm holding, wait, let me get it in the middle.
There we go. What is that?
This is a punch out like paper doll of one of the spinners, because the spinners had an album and they made each one of them a cut out paper doll that you punched out. And they are each one here still at my mom's on the wall. They've been here my entire life, and I'm sure I will inherit them. And I just wanted to share that because I was ready to show off your gems.
I love that.
I'm just saying.
I love that.
Hold on. I gotta do it the right way.
Harmonica something. Do it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You guys are amazing.
That was
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
you
you
so much for doing this, both of you. This has been awesome, and you know, you gave us wonderful energy, you two. So I can't imagine when we all get together in person.
I know.
When all this night is over, for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Have
okay,
a good
on that note, I'm Red.
And I'm Cynthia.
Hey, this has been Bedtime Stories. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep or start dancing. One or the other.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night. How do I end? I don't even know how to end it.
Don't worry.
And we're leaving that right in here, Xander. We're going to leave all that in. Xander didn't know.
No,
social media. He doesn't know how to sign off.
No, Xander, you take your phone and you go by your window and you throw it out the window. That's how.
Honey, I'm here for
I was going to
that.
say dip it in a cup of water and then.
If it was my phone, I would do it. It's my roommate, so I can't be like, oh yeah.
All right, Xander. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do it for you. Good night, Xander. Thank you.
I love you. Good night.
Love you.
Bye.
That was so fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. All right. Should I stop the recording now?
Be fun to be had by everyone.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording.
All right.
Do I want to stop cloud recording?